Hello, welcome to the Pink Pod. I wonder whether you'd like to begin by introducing yourself to our members.
Hi, I'm Sofya and I'm a Condors member. I'm a uni student at Oxford and obviously also a member of this club.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming and joining us. It's really nice to have you here. I wonder whether you might begin by telling us a little bit about your background in cycling. When did you come to the bike? When did you decide to join a club? Is this your first club or have you been riding for a long time in a group?
Yeah, I got into road cycling in 2023, so I'm relatively new. I came to Oxford in the same year and I started commuting to work pretty consistently on, I guess, a secondhand road bike. And after that, I met a guy who said, maybe you should go on a 20k ride with me. And I thought, cool, sounds weird. I only do running, but I guess I'll give it a go. It was really fun and it's a bit less painful than a 20k run. So I found it pretty fun. So the next time we did a 40k ride, the next time we did an 80k ride. I think you kind of see where this goes. But yeah.
And now you're married? Is that the way this is going? No,
unfortunately. But we live together and we still, don't hate bikes. So we're here. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that sounds quite the courtship.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Doubling distance
pretty
every
much,
time.
Yeah. And then by the third one, he was like, why don't we do like 70k on one day and then we like stay at an Airbnb and then we like go 70k on the way back. I kind of wanted to kill him on every single hill. Yeah, that was my introduction to kind of like road cycling. He, by the way, still has not joined the Condors. Yeah, so there's an obvious kind of call out that I'm giving him here.
I was going to say we can forgive him for that, but only for so long.
For so long, yeah, okay. Exactly.
So, I mean, that sounds like quite an exciting way of starting cycling. What was it that bit you about the bike? Because something about that scenario, you could have just kept it as a hobby that you did with your partner, but it's grown into something else.
Yeah, I think that for me, so I'm originally Russian. Over the course of my life, I've lived in Russia, I've lived in the UK, I've lived in the States, I've traveled around a decent amount. I'm currently doing a PhD, and during, I guess, like my youth and also my undergraduate and kind of like my early 20s, I wasn't doing sports in a serious fashion because I was kind of quite focused on academics or geopolitical things. Basically, there was a lot of other things going on. And when I got to Oxford, this is actually the first time that I had time to focus on sports. And this was kind of one of the spaces where I was like, wow, I can really spend time doing this. I have the time to do this and I really enjoy it. Yeah, I think if people are wondering, because previously I lived in California and no, I did not discover cycling there, which is a funny thing in itself, but here we are.
You had to move to rainy
Exactly.
England.
I had to move to rainy England to discover cycling.
Was it the potholes or the rain that
exactly.
really first?
I think that's exactly what really drew me in. Just every time I hit a pothole, I'm like, wow.
This is what it's
about. This is what it's about. Yeah.
That's really nice. Tell me what you're studying. What's your PhD in?
I study clinical medicine. So I look at genomic data. So I look at kind of like various clinical data sets from across the globe. I put them together in a pile and I try to figure out reasons as to why some people get more sick and why other people get less sick. The particular thing I study is hepatitis C. So it's a virus that infects your liver. There's hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E. People get them confused. The one we have a vaccine for is hepatitis B. We do not yet have a vaccine for hepatitis C. These are just my frequently asked questions that I'm covering straight away.
I was going to say, this sounds like you came well armed for this question.
So I study the one, I study I study the letter C, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a virus that infects your liver and it affects a decent proportion of the globe. And we have really good treatments for it, but we still don't know the best treatment to prescribe depending on geographic location and also kind of like the location of the virus. So I build statistical methods to predict the clinical outcome of a person and like how likely they are to get sick with a particular variant of this virus, and then hopefully help develop better clinical practices. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Hopefully that made sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, it certainly did. I was thinking about what your working day might be like and how cycling fits around that. You mentioned that you were commuting to work. Is the bike I was going to say an antidote. That sounds like a bad pun considering what you've just told me. Is it a contrast, a kind of helpful contrast to your working day, or it's something else?
Yeah. So to go back to the original thing, so I live around 5 kilometers away from my work. So even before I was, air quotes, into cycling, I would cycle every day, like kind of like 5K there, 5K back. And for me, again, before I did this as a sport or before I did this more formally, it was kind of one of my favorite parts of the day, despite the rain and despite, I don't know, I guess like sometimes the mud. But essentially, I really, really enjoy this part of my day because it's kind of the 15 minutes that starts my day and the 15 minutes that is the really nice break between work and kind of home life. Essentially, it's a really, really nice break, like just to get my thoughts together. And I don't know, sometimes like if it's a nice day, I appreciate the weather. It's one of my favorite parts of my day. And in terms of like how that's emerged or how cycling works now, I think for me, sports is something that makes me a better researcher. So for example, I code pretty much full time. So what that looks like is I get up in the morning, sometimes get on my turbo at this point and do kind of like a home turbo session. Then I cycle to work, and I work a bit on my problems. Sometimes I get stuck. And then at that point, I kind of take a break. I go for a walk. Sometimes I guess like I even like use my bike to commute to do an errand. But essentially it breaks up my day. So I, break up my day to basically focus better. The unfortunate part, I have to interrupt, I am also a triathlete, so sometimes I use swimming, I know, to break up my day as well. It's not just cycling, so I have to be honest here. Then I come back and I do a bit more coding, and then I get more stuck, or at some point, such as today, I reach a point where, okay, I don't really know how to proceed with this further, or I've magically finished all the tasks that I initially set out to do for the day, and then I go home and I cycle home, and then sometimes I either get back on my turbo, or maybe in a summery day, I actually can go outside after work and cycle there.
So yeah, I mean that's a lot of boxes ticked for cycling. It sounds like it's a practical thing about running errands and getting things done. It offers maybe mental space for preparing yourself for the day and for relaxing and unwinding on the way home. That it provides fitness and general, an opportunity to push yourself, and maybe also that feeling that it helps you get unstuck with problems.
Absolutely. Very, very definitely. Yeah.
So it's a kind of a grease for the mind, like it helps things move along.
I think it's also a grease for my life in general. It kind of helps my life move along. And also, I mean, really importantly, imagine commuting in a car. Like, how embarrassing would that be? Using a car to commute to work. I have done that, by the way, guys. I lived in the US. But again, that would be really, really awkward. So having now discovered cycling, I am the really annoying person that uses a bike pretty much like all the time, even when you probably really shouldn't.
So have you become evangelical because of it? You sound like you might, like people in your lab or office might be being preached to. Maybe.
I think that at this point, like everyone just kind of labels me as like, oh, Sofya, okay, the weird person that does sports. We'll just leave her alone. That's the best way I can describe it. But I think that, I mean, realistically, we just don't even have parking spaces for people. So I think they don't have the option to use a car.
Okay.
But the best way I can describe it is like we have sustainability week and you get a pastry if you bring your bike helmet in. I think that's the extent of positive reinforcement we have for sustainable travel.
Okay. So yeah, you are so far above the expected level that you're playing a whole different game.
No, I think just most people are just like, okay, we just leave her be. I think most people are just like, okay, this weird cycling thing that you do.
So setting aside that context of getting to work, getting home from work and the relationship with work, what's been the thing that's grown in the course of making cycling a sporting hobby rather than a practical part of life, like getting to work and so on?
I mean, before I got to kind of the UK, I hadn't really considered, I mean, that was definitely something, the fact that you could, quote, train for cycling wasn't something that I had ever considered. I know that sounds really obvious, but that just wasn't something I had ever considered was possible or like was a thing you could do. This is maybe a thing that touches upon kind of like some deeper themes of possibly inequality, but growing up, I had never seen a pro female cyclist. So that was never something I was aware of being like a job that I could do, or being something that could be a career aspiration for me. I saw a lot of pro male cyclists and I thought, that's cool, but I guess I just labeled it in my head automatically as something, this is something that men do. Is this a correct assumption? Absolutely not, but that was some sort of kind of a socialization that I had. So I guess it was really nice to be challenged on that, and in a way it was again, it was something that was like in my head that I didn't know was in my head. So as soon as someone was like, oh, you could like train for this and like do it and really enjoy it, the natural response for me was like, oh, awesome, let's do it, let's go. I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for, but that's
no, I wasn't looking for any particular answer. But I was thinking about those two different ways that cycling can feature, or often features, in people's lives. That it does become something very practical. It's a way to get to a shop that's further away. It's a way of carrying more stuff. It's a way of getting home quicker, say. But as you're alluding to, all of the training and the performance element, it can be a thing in its own right. Like, it's not for something, it is the thing that you're doing. The comments about inequality and what you see are obviously, I think, relevant to Condors and our interests, particularly our interests in having a diverse cycling club in which women have real prominence and authority. And I'm wondering, who have you found to help nurture that? Because exposure to other women who are cycling, who are good at riding, who might help you along, that's a part of the story, I guess.
Absolutely. I think that in terms of the nurture, it doesn't necessarily have to be women. I will take a while to answer this question. I think that there's multiple different levels. So one, I think like when getting into a particular sport, it's important to have in-person role models that are kind of like close to your level or kind of like feel within, so peers. It's also hopefully, and from my perspective, important to have role models that are kind of outside of your level, but also still close by or kind of like feel relevant in some way. And then there's also, of course, the role models that are kind of like at the top of their field or at the top of their performance aspect. And I think for me, having role models across all genders in these kind of categories has been important. So I think it's about seeing like, okay, here's someone who I can go on a Sunday long ride with, and we can see each other progress. And I find that really helpful. And the Condors is great for that. And then same with kind of seeing some of the kind of more experienced members in the club. I don't know, Lucy Harris is also really inspiring. At the same time, they are both achieving on a really international level, as well as being local, and kind of like that humanizes them in a way. So it's really great to have role models like that. And then of course, I guess like discovering like kind of also like pro cyclists through social media has been quite useful for me as well.
Yeah. Is that a world that you're interested in? Is it you follow people online, you kind of keep up to date with women's pro cycling?
I would say that I keep up to date with it very marginally, or maybe not as intensely as I keep up with triathlon, kind of like pro triathlon. So that's maybe the answer I can give you. In terms of like female pro cycling, I think that there's no necessarily good reason for why I don't keep up with it as much, but it's more just we only have so much time. And I guess, but yeah, I definitely follow like, I don't know, one or two pro cyclists.
So much cycling to watch, so little time to watch it in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have to cycle a bit yourself as well. So
occasionally
I kind of
nice to squeeze
prioritize that one. Yeah.
Who do you usually ride with? Who are the people that you're talking about when you're talking about those Sunday long rides where your peers?
Yeah, like Kirsten Lovestock is, I mean, obviously extremely welcoming, and I think that's someone who I, absolutely adore, and I think that they've been extremely, extremely essential to making me feel welcome at the Condors. For example, kind of like helping figure out how to do cornering or explaining what different types of racing options there are, and heavily encouraging me and others to sign up for races. That's been great. I think that in terms of in terms of kind of like general rides, I think that what I love about the Condors is like you'll never know who you will meet. So you show up to a ride and then you can meet a professor, you can meet someone who's working in data science, you can meet absolutely anyone working or not working at any life stage. Maybe they're retired, maybe they've just started uni, and I guess like this entire mix of people comes together because they absolutely love this one thing, cycling. So that's the kind of, I guess the whole point is I love the breadth of people.
Well, that's really lovely to hear, and especially thinking that as well as meeting inspirational cyclists, you find interesting people.
Absolutely.
Just good chat, good company, nice folk.
Coffee stops.
Coffee stops. Okay, tell me where is the number one coffee stop for you? If you're taking me on a ride, where are we going?
This is a very difficult question, and I think that it has a lot of different answers. That's why I'm like, I mean, I think Milkshed is the classic where you take someone if they're new to cycling and like you kind of want to introduce them. Yeah, that's a classic one. The Old Shed is pretty good.
Yep.
The cheese
shed.
There's a lot of
sheds, aren't they?
What am I trying to think of? There's somewhere in the Cotswolds, and I'm going to get this wrong, but it's kind of a wildlife center. So there's
Cotswold Wildlife Park.
It has like baby goats as well. So that's why I think it's not the wildlife park. There's like that's why this is going to be a terrible recommendation, but at the same time, I think everyone should go there.
If we can figure out where it is.
Yes, so it's baby goats and there's coffee and pastries. So it's kind of like
the holy trinity of a bike coffee stop.
What more can you really ask for? Yeah, I can highly recommend it as both a kind of like a friendly cycle and a date idea. I've taken all sorts of folk there.
Yeah,
I will try to look this up.
I was going to say maybe we can find out what that is and we can add it as a recommendation.
We definitely
on when we put out the podcast. Yeah, what are you having at your coffee stop? Baby goats aside as entertainment.
Yeah, I don't think
Don't eat a baby goat.
I'm not eating a baby goat. Latte, cappuccino. I'm very particular in the type of latte art I will be judging it. So.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Is that from personal experience?
Personal, a complete lack of personal experience, but the kind of like aspiration to actually make good latte art. So.
Okay.
I guess I am terrible at frothing milk, and I have attempted to make latte art, and I know how hard it is. So therefore, I really appreciate it when someone does actually succeed and excels at it.
So are you expecting nothing less than a swan, or?
Ooh, well, it's actually fun. This is a fun aside because my surname means swan. So if somebody actually makes me a swan as latte art, that would actually be kind of a meta level. So my surname Lebedeva means swan in Russian. So if someone makes me a latte with a swan art on it, I'm just saying.
That's good.
It's pretty good.
Right. Okay.
Noted for
I can't do latte.
Yeah, I think it's more just if they can make some sort of art or some sort of design that is not just a heart, I will really, really appreciate it. If it's a heart, I will also appreciate it, especially if it's after kind of like, I don't know, quite a few kilometers and I'm quite tired. Yeah.
How far would you usually go on a weekend ride? Because you've told a story about getting into riding where every time it doubles. I'm guessing that had to stop at some point.
It did have to stop at some point.
Where have you found your kind of happy balance if you go out just for a ride? You'll notice I'm steering around triathlon just relentlessly.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
We will come back to it, I promise.
No problem.
The bike ride on its own, how far are you going?
The bike ride is usually around 60k or 70k in kind of like early season. So when I'm I take kind of like December and January very light and off. Mm-hmm. So I think right now I'm around 60 or 70k. So anywhere between 2 and 3 hours, whatever takes me 2 and 3 hours. So for example, if I stop and look at a baby goat for 30 minutes, that counts in the 3 hours.
That's like a training zone
exactly.
of its own.
It's really important. Okay. And then probably in the summer it gets to maybe more around. I think in the summer it's just a lot harder to bound it in the sense that I'm just happy to be out there. I'm not hopefully battling the wind and rain and storm. You never know in June in the UK. But so probably maybe around 80 kilometers or so, or sometimes 100 on the kind of like higher ones.
That would be a big day out.
But that would definitely be a big day out, yeah.
Is that biggest you like that amount of time out, or is it a practical thing about how much you can fit in around work, running, swimming?
Yeah, so for example, if I'm going out after work, again, I'm pretending that this is possible given the fact that the sun is currently setting at around 6 p.m.
I was going to say we should clarify that we're recording this in February, and the sun has been out today for a grand total of like 6 hours, and it feels like we're being visited by the gods, doesn't it? It's,
pretty much. So I guess at the recording time of this, it's not, to me at least, possible to go out after work. But I'm very happy, like if as soon as it becomes possible, I don't mind about the length. If I can go out on a work day, oh my God, I would love that. I'm mostly talking about Saturday rides, at which point I am trying to kind of get volume because that's my biggest time where I can be out. And I think that's usually, I guess, some of the routes that I prefer. It takes a little bit of time to get outside of Oxford and maybe avoid some of the potholes. Again, emphasis on the maybe.
Can't guarantee. Okay. Tell me about triathlon. When did you start doing multi-event sports?
Yeah, I guess I swam as a child a decent amount, and then I played water polo in the States. So I played kind of I guess a team sport in the States, and then I didn't really play during COVID, and that whole kind of thing was shut down. So I started running during COVID, and then I kind of ran and I joined the cross country club at Oxford when I came here, and that was fun. I guess the classic trouble with trying to scale running too quickly is you get quite injured. But at that point, it's okay because you can just get on your bike. And then at some point, again, unfortunately, maybe to his detriment, but the same boyfriend that got you into cycling also suggests, well, if you swam a lot as a kid, maybe you should try doing the 3, since there's 3 of them.
Right. So he's to blame for the triathlon.
He's to blame for the bike, and he's also to blame for the triathlon.
Okay.
So I don't know. Yeah.
Is he a triathlete as well?
He actually isn't. It doesn't even make sense. He hates swimming a lot.
I can identify with that.
Yeah.
That's it feels so slow, but maybe that's just because I'm so terrible at it. If you've swum since being a child, it's not slow.
It feels pretty fast and pretty tiring.
Okay.
It's one of the highest ways to get your lactate really high in your blood.
Oh, is it?
I don't know if people enjoy that. I personally don't always enjoy that, but it's a sure way to feel really dead really quickly.
Okay.
So if you're into that,
noted.
Yeah.
That suggests that competition has a place in your life. What's that like? What's competition like for you?
Yeah, I have to date still actually I have done, I think, one cycle. So I really, really enjoy cycling, but to date I have done one single cycling race. I've only done one of the local like Condors time trials, which people were super supportive at, and it was really fun. I still have not done a single kind of like solo cycling race or kind of like cycling only race.
Yep.
I believe this will change relatively soon, i.e. March 8th. But
right. So you've got an event in mind. What are you doing?
It's a team time trial, the like British university champs, I think.
Oh, very cool.
It's the uni team was like, they did a time trial segment, and I'll give it a go.
That sounds great. So,
should be really fun.
And you've not done a team time trial before?
I've never done a time trial before, but I've done some practice. So.
I mean, you're going to love it. So
I'm super excited.
It's going to be good. Who are your teammates?
Someone called Lucy and someone called Jess. And they also both, I believe, will also race with the Condors in the next few months. So watch this space. Watch this space. Exactly.
Excellent. Yeah. Oh, well, that's really nice to hear. I was going to ask you about what it's like sharing your cycling life across 2 different clubs. I think it's quite common, and we certainly feel the benefit of having 2 universities in the city. We are, as well as getting lots of Oxford students, we get lots of Brookes students. We are the official cycling club of Brookes, hence the pink kind of works well because that's their sporting colour. But what's it like finding that balance between being a member of the university and its club and being a part of a city-based club? where people do all kinds of jobs and often don't have any attachment to the university.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's one of my favorite parts about being part of the Condors is, I've touched on it before, but it's the exposure to people who are doing other things. And that's always the really exciting part. Sometimes it gets really frustrating to talk to only people who study statistics, or
I can't imagine.
I know, or only study genetics. And when you see all of those people at the same time, and there's a really strong overlap between people who do STEM PhDs and also a part of the Oxford Uni Triathlon Club. So I think you kind of see where I'm going with this. It's really nice to experience pretty much anything else. Yeah.
I mean, my time when I was at university, I remember there was quite a strong alignment between the sporty people and STEM subjects, and then the artsy people and, I'm trying to think of a positive way of putting this, more adventurous ways of living, drugs, alcohol, music.
This is not going well for you. It's not going well for you, but keep going. Keep digging.
That was my observation at the time, and I won't give away which side of that I was
okay.
on. But is that something that you find at university, or is that not? Has that broken down?
Yeah, I don't think I would say that quite strongly. I think it really depends on the club, the kind of like level of study. And of course, as someone who does statistics, I could tell you I don't have enough power to tell you anything with significant conclusions. So of course I would need more data. That's
the error margin in this.
Of course. Sorry, it's just, I couldn't possibly conclude.
Very good.
So what we need more people doing sports.
Exactly.
And once we have more people doing sports, maybe I can give you an answer.
Okay.
And then we need to take really, really carefully detailed surveys of these people, because everyone loves taking surveys, and fill out really good, well-structured metadata. And only then I can give you some answers.
I mean, at this point, I feel like I need to confess that the member survey, I insisted that there was to be no quantitative data at all, because I was an art student, and I think, like, if you can't write a sentence about it, then I don't want to know.
Okay, perfect. Well, everyone has their own practices.
Like, count me a good bike ride. No.
Yeah.
Anyway. You've alluded a few times to what you're planning for this year. You've already mentioned you've got a team time trial. Any other plans for the year, either riding, traveling with your bike, competing? What's on the cards for 2026?
Yeah, I think that competition is currently a big aspect of my life. We'll see if that's true in a year. I'm someone who hyper focuses on things. So you never know. This will either be a phase or it will be a lasting thing. I think the bike is here to stay in whatever form that is. And that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy cycling, is because I really think that I've hopefully found myself a hobby that I can be a part of in some form for quite a long time, regardless of my life stage and kind of like physical ability. And that's one of the reasons why I love it so much. In terms of plans for this year, mostly I would say it's triathlon races. So the kind of big race I'm working towards is the kind of world championships for the Olympic distance. So it should be fun. It's
modest goals.
Yeah. But it's true. I guess it's true.
I mean, to have that level of talent, that's great. Yeah.
And it's for the age group one, so don't worry, I don't have a pro license in any way, shape or form.
But still, that's a big achievement.
Yeah, so it should be fun. It's actually on my birthday, so I don't know if people's idea of fun is waking up.
Does that mean they give you places or time off? Like, congratulations, Sofya, you did come in with 1.5 hours. We're gonna call it an hour and 15 because
I would love that. And I would also love if I could come in on an Olympic distance triathlon in an hour and 15, because that would mean I would smash the world record.
I was going to say, we've given away that I know nothing
That's
about
totally
these things.
Fine. But to anyone that does know about triathlon, guys, if my Olympic distance time was 1 hour 15. Wow.
Tell me how long, roughly, you don't need to give away your PB, but how long were you going to be doing this for?
Anywhere between 2 and 2.5 hours.
Okay.
So that's roughly the yeah.
I mean, that sounds like an awful long time to be right on the limit. Does that mean, again, I'm showing my naivety, but also just acknowledging your experience? What's the level of intensity that you're competing at? You've told me that swimming is just lactic building up, what's the level of exertion over that period of time?
This is where, again, my data nerdiness comes out again. I'm a huge fan of numbers, and
right.
Just in case I don't use numbers enough in my work,
Okay.
I love to use them in my training. That's one of the reasons why I love cycling. I think it just depends. There's different distances, and I think this is hopefully what applies to cycling races as well, which I think one of the reasons why I'm really excited to try some more cycling races as well is because I think the dynamics are different. So one of the main race tactics for the bike leg of a triathlon is that you pick kind of the maximum power that you can hold over a particular time, and then you pretty much just try to hang in there and hold it, which is of course completely different to
so this is non-drafting
Yes.
triathlon,
Yes,
I guess.
precisely, yeah.
Have you ever tried a drafting triathlon?
I have tried a drafting triathlon. This is where it gets quite interesting. So for a drafting triathlon, which are mostly the short course ones, the swim is super, super important. So for example, you have to basically get out of this at the beginning, like with the front pack.
You need to be in the pack.
Otherwise, you don't even start with the pack, and then you're just a bit screwed. So that's where it can not having the swim can really, really exacerbate. I guess and then same with, I guess, if you do a duathlon, if you don't have a good run in the beginning, because it's a duathlon is run, bike, run. So if you don't have a fast run, then you're not on the pack in the beginning. So I think that as someone who is possibly a better cyclist than I am a runner or a swimmer,
I see.
The drafting triathlons are quite hard for me.
Yeah, that doesn't play to your strengths,
No.
right? So somebody who is relatively weak on the bike would benefit from a drafting triathlon because they would sit behind you. Whereas, a non-drafting one, you can make use of the big engine, and am I right in thinking that the bike is also the longest lasting leg, so you can make a bigger difference?
And the longer you go in triathlon, the more difference the bike makes. So I guess for people who are maybe considering a multi-sport event, not to preach the dark side, but a longer event might play to your cycling strengths versus a sprint where the bike is only 20k.
What distance is the team time trial that you're targeting? Can you remember?
I literally don't know.
Okay.
I was just going to show up. It says apparently it's going to take an hour.
Okay, so maybe 40k.
That sounds reasonable.
That kind of.
That sounds correct.
And do you do that on road bikes or on your triathlon
I
time
will
trial bikes?
hopefully do it on my time trial bike. This is a new purchase recently, which
Okay.
I'm both terrified of and excited about.
That's very exciting. What did you buy?
A Cervelo P5. So it should be. It was. So I did a summer internship, and that was the goal of the summer internship.
Was the Cervelo P5?
What I put on my supervisor report was that obviously it's to develop skills and broaden my horizons and to give back. The goal was to buy the Cervelo P5.
Okay, so I suppose you can't put that on the application form, can you? Like, what I really want to develop is a Cervelo P5.
Yes. So why do you want to work for this job?
Yeah. I guess just to think of one or two last questions, I'm wondering what type of riding have you not done that you would like to try?
I will start with the thing I'm terrified of, which is mountain biking. I have done it once, and it ended with huge gashes and scars, and it did not go well for me. This was in Utah in the US in the middle of COVID, which was both fantastic because there was absolutely no one there, and also there was absolutely no one there.
So terrifying.
So when it didn't go well, it was quite a while until I was able to receive a bandage to help myself.
I have to say, what were you doing that you were completely covered in? What happened?
I think I just went over a rock, and then that's
As
it.
in exited the front door?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
So that was not the best experience. But, despite that, I still go on a bike.
But just on the tarmac?
Just on the tarmac. So possibly I won't be repeating mountain biking in the near future. Gravel riding, obviously, I would love to try. And have
you? Yeah, because obviously that is the latest trend, right? We've got lots more people riding off road, and I think it's safe to say they're largely riding off road on gravel bikes. Yeah. Have you bought a gravel bike? Have you got a road bike that you can use wider
There's
tires
only so
on?
much space
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
One of the tragedies.
The good news about our household is that we both love bikes. So at least the question of can we buy more bikes is always yes, but there is a limit to the physical space and financial limitations, of course.
Okay.
So
but
no.
That's work in progress.
Exactly.
But,
check back in with me.
I have to say you don't paint an attractive picture of mountain biking. That this is like
that was just my experience.
trauma.
If people would like to challenge me, absolutely. It's just that was me. I think I still have the photos of the plasters and
I mean, I have to say, over summer, it's as the plants become overgrown, I've definitely come back from rides looking like my arms look like the Passion of the Christ, where it's just like blood everywhere. How has this happened? I thought I was having a really nice time, but it looks like I've been flayed alive. So maybe that's just a part of it. Is there anybody in the club that you would like to ride with that you've not ridden with? Anybody that you've seen or heard about or encountered on Strava that you think, they seem interesting?
That is such a difficult question. I think that what I would love to say is maybe it's more, I think, again, I would love to just like go on a ride, and I think that the whole point is I would love to just like meet people that I wouldn't normally meet. So I wouldn't want to...
it's the roulette wheel.
It's the roulette wheel for me. So in the sense that if you hear this and you think, oh, that would be cool, maybe reach out and we'll go on a ride together.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, it's a nice thought as well that like the right person to ride with is the one that turns up for the ride.
I fully agree. Yeah.
Oh, that's a lovely note to end on. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on and introduce yourself. I hope that you and I get to ride together before too long. That would be nice.
That would be really nice.
Thank you very much, Sofya.
Thank you.